Okay, great. So welcome everyone. I am Janae McLean. I am the events chair, and unfortunately, our president, Keandra Pryor, is under the weather. So I'm going to be facilitating the meeting in her place. So this is our December General Assembly meeting. So it's December the 10th, 2024. And we're a little bit behind and we're starting at 7:02. So we're going to start the format as per usual, and we're going to start with the updates from the board and the committee. I am going to go ahead and pull up a couple of visuals for people to follow along.
Or was a sod farm? Years it was growing potatoes here. No kidding.
Is my slide showing? Okay, fantastic. Again, okay, welcome neighbors. So we'll start with our board reports, then we'll transition into the discussion. And then if there are any announcements, we can review that after the other topics are covered. So we're going to start with the board report, and I'm going to ask my other board and committee team members to chime in if there's anything that I have left out or you feel like would help assist with getting a fuller picture of the content that has been shared over the past month or prior to us meeting in the earlier meetings. So again, Keandra is not on the line. However, she gave me a couple of notes. So upcoming, there is a meeting with Antonio Hayes scheduled. It is going to be Saturday, January the 11th. And the time has been confirmed for 10 to 12, and the location is at Dorothy I. Height. So we'll put this on our calendar so that people can take a look at it and keep updated if there are any updates with this event as well as any others. So I wanted to take a pause to see if anybody else has anything that they can fill in that Keandra would normally cover, like anything related to WNADA or other activities that are happening in the neighborhood.
Janae, I know there's a meeting for the 14th. I guess it's with David Bramble, his organization. I just offhand, I'm looking for regarding the
CB.
Yeah, and what's his name? You know, the one I don't get a hold of. Yes.
Okay, yes, Mr. Aaron's development project.
Yes.
Okay, so that's December the 14th. Do we have a time for that or a location?
I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm going to look through my notes.
Okay.
And see if I can locate it.
Okay. And so we'll circle back during the announcements to see if we can fill in the blanks for that. So thank you so much, Lisa. Okay, great. So moving on, I'm not sure, I don't think Jerika is logged on, but nonetheless, she is?
Yeah. She is.
Okay. Jerika, did you have any updates?
No, I don't. I didn't have that. Okay.
Okay.
No, I don't have any update.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to transition over to Lisa Ward, Secretary.
Okay. Okay. I know we've been discussing the election cycle and who's eligible to vote, as well as who, is potentially running. And I just want to say, first off, I think a lot of, us having to push things back when you consider what has how it's run, the election cycle has run in years past, is a lot to do with Amtrak, and the work that was required um, to do what we're doing. And when I say what we're doing, I'm talking about Keandra and Carson in particular, because there are a lot of behind the scene things that go on. Like their outreach is incredible, it's consistent, but they're also researching and strategizing and communicating with all the parties involved. And I know people are, involved as members, as well, in being asked to do things. So it's not an excuse. I just want to point that out because there's a lot of work going on, even when you think that there's not. Like there's always something going on, always something to respond to. And so that's kind of, I mean, everything sort of went to the wayside to accommodate this really significant um, issue that required all hands on deck quite a bit. I mean, we were going to meetings, we were, doing FOIA requests, requesting investigations, all of that, and it's still ongoing. So I just want to say that as one thing, and which kind of leads me into I've been asked previously to go through the bylaws and find out who would be eligible for election and that sort of thing. And I'd been asked to do that a while ago, but I'm just now getting to it because we have been so busy. And first things first, our bylaws are sort of outdated and really need to be updated because there are references to things in 2021, that election cycle, and then the election cycles that would follow thereafter. So I think we need to go back, and that's going to be a process, but I think we need to go back. And generally, you want to just say annual meeting. You don't want us to give a specific year because you'd have to revise every year unless you find another way around it. So that has to be done. There also, with respect to the elections, we would need to know, one thing that I just ran across is that the terms are for 3 years. So I don't know exactly when everybody was elected and if their term is up, because those would be the only people that would be eligible for election. Those positions are the only ones that would be up.
Lisa, I think we have, oh, sorry. I think we have a raised hand from Daryl McLean.
Oh,
I also looked through the bylaws, and to be honest, what I found was that according to the bylaws, no one was eligible to run because our terms were not up yet. So, strictly according to the bylaws, all of our terms end in 2025. Further, I just wanted to agree with what the secretary said, that we have been all hands on deck insofar as Amtrak is concerned, and and we probably need to have a special committee insofar as elections are concerned. But I think that what should happen now is that we should postpone the elections either indefinitely or to a specific time, say in 60 days. That will give us enough time to be concrete on the bylaws and the and just get it all fleshed out. But we do it, you know, with more than just one person. But if you go and read the bylaws right now, as I read them, it says that from the president down to the standing committees, that we are all still in our first election period, and that our elections are to run in 2025. So if there is no objection, I would like to move to at least postpone the elections to the January meeting. Is there any?
And I just want, there's somebody else? I just wanted to say that with respect to, go ahead, Jerika.
No, I just want to say he keeps saying everybody. My election was already up. So I think Chad and I were original officers. So my time is not up in 2025. It should have been already up. It's just that we can't get anybody who wants to be vice president. So I'm just still hanging around. But no, mine is not up in 2025.
So Jerika, do you remember what year you were elected?
Well, let's put it like this, I became president when I started this organization with Kim. That was in 2020, February of 2020. So I've been doing it since February of 2020. We were made the offices, then I think they were all, as the time went on, we were all selected or voted in or whatever in 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and that would be different. I just assumed there would be different times for everyone because I didn't come in until 2023.
Right.
So
it was stagnated. Different people were stagnated.
Yeah,
it was definitely stagnated. Like there was 3 years for this person and 3. Yeah. So it was definitely at one time it was stagnated, but my time was already up.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's, at the very least, if we can report out on, the guidelines for being eligible to vote, as well as the guidelines on being eligible to run for office. And then we'll postpone the discussion around the elections. I think perhaps we should maybe meet as a board to be able to bring forward a review of when the elections are going to occur. Even though, I know that we've been discussing it, but I want to be succinct. I want everyone to have a clear understanding of the path forward. And some of the timelines. And so I think we probably need to kind of discuss it as a board and then bring it forward in January.
Yeah, and I was going to say to postpone it would take board action, and it would also take some sort of amendment to the current bylaws, quite possibly. So it's, it would have to be some official act.
Sure.
And so, I don't know what that would look like, but I'd have to go back and look at what the bylaws say specifically about the election. And I don't think that they even discuss postponement or anything like that, but.
Sure. Yes,
So,
but, I'm not sure that we have, I'm not sure how many people we have that are interested in running for office. So I think that one of the other things that we probably need to do is kind of give people another bird's eye view, or, give them more information around what holding a board or a committee chair is like, and, maybe start the grassroots process of trying to find our successors so that we can bring new ideas, bring new creativity to the organization so that we can just continue to get better. So, but for today, I don't think that we will, be able to go very much further with the discussion as far as the actual elections are concerned, but maybe give a little more detail around the process so that once we do have the elections that people understand, are they eligible to vote? If not, what can they do for the next election cycle for being eligible to vote?
Okay, so the bylaws as they stand now require you to have been active member and participating member, and that requires you to have attended at least 50% of the meetings. Now, the way it's written in terms of whether you have to be a dues paying member, that is not really clear. So that's one of those things that we would have to clear up, because if you say active, I mean, and then you proceed to say, hey, 50% attendance at all our meetings, then, that could leave, up in the air the issue of whether you have to be a dues paying member. A lot of times what you'll see is you have to be a dues paying member effective the preceding year in, say, September or whatever date is chosen.
Yeah.
And then it's easier to track, you just go look at the records. Was he a dues paying member on such and such, as of December 31st, 2023? But it's not clear from the bylaws as it's written now.
Yeah, but I believe that there are 3 tiers, member, active member, associate member, and if I'm not mistaken, it may not be in the bylaws, but it may be in the membership descriptions, where active does imply that you are current with your dues, but I will definitely go back and check, and that's, a good nugget.
Yeah, it definitely isn't in the bylaws itself, because they do list associate members, membership for people who are not residing in Reservoir Hill, and the active and participating members, who are the ones who must attend at least 50% of the meetings in order to vote.
Okay, so
I
we'll
think
work
we
on that.
just need to clarify that, okay, you have to be, have your paid your annual dues effective, whatever, 31st, in order to be active or whatever,
Yes. Yep. So a general member, associate member, and then I believe that there's a third T, but we will definitely go circle back and check on that.
Yeah. And it might be in the membership section.
Yes.
And so, they may, it makes sense that you would be a dues paying member in order to be considered active. But we probably need to make that a little bit clearer, just so everyone knows.
And then so the same criteria applies for running for a position?
Yes, in order to be to run, first of all, like that position has to be open. So if it's 3 terms or a 3-year term, then, like, for example, if the treasurer position is to be, if someone is interested in running for that, then unless I guess maybe if the person resigns or there's some change in circumstance, I'm not sure that's addressed. But I don't know that we have any other qualifications, but I haven't gone through as thoroughly to know if there are any other qualifications other than, at a minimum, you have to be the dues paying member that's been active and participating. I don't think there are any specific requirements, like, if you're going to be, or that you have to have any specific qualifications, but I'm going to review that.
General member. Yeah, a general member, not an associate, for sure. And
Right.
Daryl, I see you have your hand up.
Madam Vice President was 100% correct, and I was wrong. I sped past section 2, so I just want to make that correction on my part.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that clarification. Okay, so thank you, Lisa. Were there any other additional elements to um information for the 2025 election?
No, I'm planning on going through it more thoroughly and, making some recommendations, and as well as, everyone is, I'm sure, free to make recommendations on how we can, proceed going further, with this discussion about elections, like, you know, because there has to be some sort of official process. I'm not
Sure.
sure, how that's going to be, but definitely at the board level for any
Okay.
change in the, election process and procedure, going forward. I know Keandra wants to make it a more formalized process, so I understand that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. So more to follow on how we're going to carry out the 2025 election. So we'll bring it back to the board and give some more structure around that process. But in the meantime, people have the at least one piece of information related to eligibility for voting as well as running for a particular office. So this is an update from our treasurer. He is not going to be on the call. He has a conflict for this evening, but this is information up to date for up to 12/10 related to our current bank balance as well as income. So this is the income that was taken in all the way up until 12/10. And if you would like greater detail around that, I'm sure that Chet has that information on file. And these are our running expenses for up until 12/10. So you can see the different activities that we've had expenses around, event expenses as well as operating fees for the organization. Great, and I believe the QR code is for that links out to our PayPal. So if you want to pay your dues in real time, we're providing that opportunity for you. Right, so our next committee is actually vacant. This is our historic architecture and historic preservation. So as we're talking about elections and considerations and eligibility for holding office, this is one of the offices, and here are a few of the hot topics that would fall within that particular committee. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out to one of the other committee members, and we can get you additional information to help you make an informed decision around joining the committee. So next is me. So we have been super active since our last meeting, both online as well as in person. So we have been doing a social event or social outreach, and we've been connecting through pets. And so our first one was in September, and Anissa Lambertus is this was her brainchild. And so we did a quick pause and peeps in September. It was a big hit. People asked if we can do it again. So we did one in October with the Halloween theme. We even had a costume contest for the pets. And then following that, we had a Halloween crawl, candy crawl. So one of the things that we targeted or focused on for the pause and the peeps was increasing our membership. And so we were able to increase our membership through all of the events that we have held under that particular umbrella. So for the candy crawl, we created a treat map within the neighborhood, and we got a chance to get out and meet and greet our neighbors. And this is the second year that we've done it. And I think it was a great success. We made a lot of we met a lot of great neighbors. We had the whole map pulled up. And so people had a bird's eye view of where all the good candy spots were. And I think it was a great way for us to come together as a community. Our in-person meeting was in November. And so we had approximately 35 people. One of the primary topics of discussion was some of the Amtrak activity. And so there were a lot of neighbors that were fully engaged around the 3 workshop questions that we had. 2 were directly involved with understanding what's happening and understanding your rights with regard to Amtrak. So one was how to file a HUD complaint. The second, I'm actually going to ask some of the other committee members if you could add a little bit of more detail around the topics for that workshop. Can someone pitch in?
Yes, the second workshop was historic preservation for advocacy. This workshop will review the benefits of being a federally recognized historic district and the tools that can be used for preservation advocacy. And the third workshop was our workshop, Resilient Reservoir Hill. And we were tasked with what will we do to continue and or towards a more resilient Reservoir Hill community. And last on the list, we decided to throw the big block party. So before our workshops, we did have a chance as committee chairs to speak with some individuals as they moved around. I was able to speak with an individual, and moving forward, that person's going to be working with marketing. So the beginning of the meeting was an opportunity for residents to check on the different standing committees, but there was a lot of interest in Amtrak at the time. So, I only got 1 or 2 stragglers to the table because of the number of individuals and their concerns about the alignment and the ventilation facility and the checks that some folks have received. And I just would also like to say that the spread was very nice, very lovely snacks. You all must have memberships to Whole Foods and Costco. It was very lovely. And we also would like to say thank you to Senator Hayes for stopping by with his family to our in-person annual membership meeting and meet and greet.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for filling in the blanks.
And Janae, if I could just add that one of the things that we discussed was setting aside follow-up meetings for the HUD complaints, filing HUD complaints, as well as Section 106 complaints. Because there just wasn't enough time to go through everything. And I know that individually, I know Christy has spoken to other people about filing a HUD complaint. And she actually sent me one that she prepared on behalf of Keandra because she knew Keandra was not feeling well. So, so the ideal is to help facilitate people filing these complaints because, there is something, is strength in numbers. And we are going to quite possibly be dealing with the fact that these homes are historic properties. and they're entitled to Section 106 protection, whatever that's going to mean going forward. But right now, you know, the process hasn't been followed, and every home is entitled to request that treatment. And so, you know, we would like to encourage people to file those complaints as well as the HUD complaints, because there, you know, that's one way for us to continue to advocate for ourselves and our community. So
So,
we
oh, sorry, go ahead.
well, I was going to say we didn't have a date in particular, but that is definitely something that we need to follow up on, and I'm certainly happy to take the lead on that to see what the you know how what could work for everyone in terms of getting together. It actually could be an online thing,
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
webinar perhaps,
Series.
and that would encourage, I think, more participation. And we definitely want as many people to participate as possible in
Yeah.
filing
So,
these.
yeah, as we generate the dates and you know the agendas for it, just a reminder, we have our RHA calendar, and that content can go in the calendar so people can take a look, and we'll also, of course, send out reminders. But the calendar is where, for that event as well as others, we're trying to keep it up so that people can use it as a resource for finding out how they can join in and participate. So more to follow. We also need to, we have quite a bit of follow-up that came out of that in-person meeting. So the HUD complaint was one. As Daryl mentioned, we are working on putting together a big block party. And so more to follow on that. And short-term follow-up from that meeting, which was kind of in the works, but we did grab a few more people to assist with putting together the last item on the slide, the pause and clause, which was our first time putting together a pet photo shoot, which again was an opportunity for us to interact with our neighbors, as well as increase our membership, and then really meet some really cute pets and then come together as a community. So, our next meeting is going to be December the 26th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And so for our next event, we need to start planning for our annual garden and home tour. So again, check with the RHA calendar to stay up to date with the planning as well as the execution of our big annual fundraiser and neighborhood community activity. So having said that, I know I kind of jumped, but I did want to thank all of the people. The Paws and Peeps I'm not really a pet person, but we had a really good time. And I guess I really can't say that anymore because there were some really amazing pets that we got a chance to interact with, along with their really amazing humans. And I really like the opportunity to connect with people and, have conversations that we wouldn't necessarily have if we weren't, connecting through the mutual love for, or the mutual affection for people's passion around their furry friends. So at any rate, that is a summary for events, and I'm going to pass it off. Well, I'm going to pause to see if there are any questions. And if not, I can pass it off to Lauren Muhammad, who is our Green Chair Committee chair. All right, Lauren. Oh, you're on mute?
That better?
Yes, much.
How many people learned to read lips just now? Okay, so the Green Committee, we had our last dumpster drop for 2024, a successful dumpster drop in 2020 for 2024 at 2000 block of Park Avenue last month, November 23rd, and it was a great turnout. We met some amazing people, and people actually gathered around the dumpster having very intense conversations about what's going on in the community. So it was a dumpster drop and a cleanup effort, but still got some conversations around what's impacting Reservoir Hill as it relates to the ventilator, the HUD issues, et cetera, et cetera. And I got to meet some of the people from Reservoir Hill side and got to see some varied opinions. But collectively, I think we made some good relationships with some of the people in the reservoir. I mean, Mount Royal community. Past the dumpster drive, dumpster day, we had our green committee meeting last night, which I thought was very productive. Had seven or I think it was 8 people in attendance, but I had quite a few new community members. And thanks to the live event that we had at Dorothy R. Height, some of the traction came from that event. So that event, the annual yearly event, was very productive as it relates to people becoming more aware of what RHA has to offer and the various committees and the options where people can fill in. Now, most of the content around our conversation last night was the ventilator system. So the Green Committee is moving forward, hopefully to put together maybe a type of event that would begin the education process of our neighbors in the community. We all agree that not enough people know about the ventilator and the fact that it's going to be right near the school, also the impact that it will have on our health for generations forward, how it impacts the whole world, the environment, the ecosystem, the air we breathe, et cetera, et cetera. So we want to start campaigning and have, various events throughout 2025 to get everybody aware of it and try to make some noise around that. We don't know that we could stop it, but at least impact on it. So that's about it for the Green Committee for now. Keep your ears open. Things about to happen. Oh, one of the participants on a call yesterday informed me and us that Whitelock Farm is no longer under the leadership of Aisha and Cole from Dovecote. There's new management. I forgot. I know her name, but I don't want to I think that I know her name, but she introduced herself. She's now the new manager of Whitelock Farm. She's been in the area for 6 months. And she said she's looking forward to working with the community at large. She said she's already established a board consisting of community members. And she sent me an email and we chatted in the email. She wants to meet and talk about how we can work together. So I said that would be historical if RHA did at some point have an alliance with the Whitelock Farm and we could impact the community in a greater way with food and sustainability projects. But that's it. Thank you, Janae.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that summary. And we'll move on to marketing. Chair Daryl McLean.
We have been fast and furious for the last couple of months. For the Pause and Clause campaign, we had the initial graphic design. We completed the flyer, printed in-house to save money, cut in-house, and distributed flyers to some board of directors members and then the rest of the marketing team. And we flyered for the pause and clause event. We kept the Eventbrite page updated along with a couple of other um, uh, individuals, including Melda, and we um, did our social media campaign around the event, and we ran a small IG ad campaign. Um, we have started a new Facebook public information page so that all of our Amtrak information, so that all of our meeting information, so that all of that information that heretofore was on our private Facebook group is now going to be public information, which means that it will help in our social media, affect the algorithms, etc. And so I expect that to be a part of a push in 2025 for some other individuals to be a part of or to be at the helm of social media, as I am 55 years old and doing it like a 55-year-old would do it. On to the next topic. For the website, I created headers for all the standing committees and updated the copy. So if you go onto the website, there is a better description of our standing committees, who we are, what we do, and how you can join. The next item, the big block party, came as a result of our November meeting, as stated earlier. So there's been an after action report created, an outline of a plan of action for the big block party is already in motion. We created a Google group. There's a welcome letter. It did not go out because at the time, my membership to that breakout committee weren't all in the weren't in the membership, so I could not bring them into the Google group. But I am going to email them separately. Mackenzie, who was on the Green Committee call yesterday, Eric Johnson, who we are familiar with, and Miss D, Miss Dory Ford's going to be on my big block party because she likes to party. So we're going to we're gonna get it going in 2025, and we're going to throw a party that is community wide. So we're going to meet in the middle. Mount Royal gonna have to come halfway, and Madison gonna have to come halfway, and we're gonna meet somewhere in the middle and throw a big block party. And then social media content, of course, through the past couple of months, we do flyers and I mean social media messaging for all of our standing committees. There was a Know Your Rights Amtrak flyer produced from work by Christine Burnett. And we also, continue our messaging for our partners and those which we collaborate. So actually, in November, we had a collaboration with Beth and several organizations when we had a screening of Film or Die. I think that was November the 3rd. And we continue to message resource opportunities, jobs availabilities, etc. Um, and the December newsletter went out today. Should have gone out maybe last Thursday, Friday, and then it could have advertised the green and the meeting this evening. But we're going to work on that for 2025. And finally, we end with the opportunity to have a um, uh, a brief conversation with Governor Wes Moore. We attended the ribbon cutting ceremony walk with Governor Moore and MCB Real Estate founder, managing partner David Bramble, and Blank Slate CEO Alex Aaron. And at the end of their walk, after they toured one of the town homes or the homes, and the governor came out and spoke with another member of RHA. I was able to speak with the governor, walk with him for a block and a half, and discuss our concerns, our community, with number one, first and foremost, the intermediate ventilation facility being placed across the street from the very 21st century elementary school that you all just talked about as an asset to the neighborhood in your walk. And furthermore, it is our understanding that other communities were in the discussion on the alignment and we were not. Furthermore, we know that the new alignment is not a more effective or efficient route, and that we do not have access to the information that we need in order for our community to be informed. And so the governor then asked me to speak with his executive assistant, and I thanked the governor and filed a report with an after action report from there, and our Madam President will have the next correspondence with the governor's office, and that completes my report.
Thank you so much. Were there any questions for the marketing chair? Okay, so we'll move forward to the Planning and Development Committee Chair, Arlen Cullors.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Just some quick updates. Druid Park Lake Drive is completed, not completed, but the striping is down. Things are still developing with the tanks. I think the window for completion of the tanks was hold on one second. June of 2025. That's the scheduled completion date. Amphitheater was not going to be included in the park until after Park and Rec. So we had 3 entities that were are over that project: Department of Public Works, DOT, and the Parks Department. So Department of Public Works has finished their component of it. Phase 2, phase 1 is the one that's almost completed now. Phase 2 is 30% funded, and that's going to be all the amenities in the park, as well as the DOT amenities along Druid Park Lake Drive. There will not be bridges crossing the Druid Park Lake Drive, as was discussed. I think that was eliminated a while back on several meetings. The other thing here is Darnell Schaefer and I have been meeting or have met regarding some of the problematic properties in the neighborhood, whether it's dealing with ordinances, trash, zoning, and occupancy, fire escapes, and things of that nature. Darnell has been working hard to try to come up with a way that can streamline the process of getting our neighbors to report what's going on in a way in which we can actually follow up in a more efficient way. Tune Up City, I haven't heard anything back from those guys. Last we had a discussion with them was like 2 or 3, maybe like 3 months ago. Our concerns were the abandoned vehicles on the parking lot, because they're trying to get the parking lot across the street from them, But if they take care of the parking lot right there, they'll have more than enough parking there. Weeds and trash associated with their property currently. I mean, it's winter time, so the weeds are not a problem, but weeds grow back. And I haven't heard anything else back from them. So once I get some more information from them, I'll update you as soon as I know something. That's about it.
Thank you, Arlen. Did anyone have any questions for Arlen? If not, we can move on to safety and security. Rolando Maxwell.
Good evening, everyone. I want to give you the report for incident that happened or event that happened in our community for the month of November. We had one weapon discharge, one robbery, one aggravated assault, two larceny from auto, one stolen auto, and one fire alarm. The Western District was able to take 10 semi-automatic weapons off the street in the month of November. One of the incidents involved a car which had a expire registration, and the officer decided to do a little investigation, and they actually found that individuals that was in the vehicles was actually was wearing bulletproof vests with a sign saying police. But they eventually got more officers involved, and they was able to search the weapons, and they found semi-automatic weapon that like the AR-15. So those individual was arrested. The Western District is having is taking application for the junior public safety cadets. This is an after-school program that they offer. The time vary depending on the district, and you could get or contact Sergeant McMillan at 410-241-7732 for further information and getting a teenage individual in the program. The ages go from 14 to 20 and is enrolled in grades 9 to 12. They also are collecting toy for the Christmas event that they partner with a church in the neighborhood. So if you have any toy that you wish to donate, you could drop it off at the Western District. Also, UNADA is have a survey for the, what they call it the crime prevention through environmental design. This is the survey been taken by UNADA public safety team, and I will advise everyone to take that survey and give them your opinion of what needs to be done in Reservoir Hill. That's basically all that I have. Any question?
Thank you so much, Rolando.
Thank you.
Hey, if there are no questions, then we're moving to the discussion part of our call. Did anyone have any topics that they would like to bring forward? We do have some reminders from our previous meeting around knowing your rights for the BP working group. So one of the pressing matters, people, yes, Darnell?
Yeah, I missed the first maybe 5 minutes of the call tonight. So I was just wondering, uh, I heard, I think from Mount Royal Terrace Association that there's a meeting with the Community Law Center sometime this week. It may have happened already, but I was wondering if you or perhaps Lisa, if you know when that meeting is.
I don't, unfortunately.
Okay. Is there a meeting? What the when would the next Amtrak specific meeting be?
So let me see, I'm gonna pull up the calendar to see when the next BP Tunnel Working Group, is that what you're referring to, Darnell?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, let me just pop on the calendar.
And while you're looking at the calendar, I just wanted to note that the Community Law Center hasn't been in touch with Reservoir Hill residents about this meeting. So I don't know if it's they actually haven't been in touch with us at all.
Oh wow.
And so that's something that probably needs to be resolved, or because they haven't really communicated at all. And we've also heard from people, because Keandra's intent in joining forces with them was so that folks in the neighborhood who might not otherwise have an opportunity to obtain legal counsel could do so by going to them, and participating, because apparently there are lawyers that are working with them. But our residents are having trouble even getting return calls on this from the community law center. So I think we have to go back and relook at that relationship, because I don't think it's as we plan. I mean, I'm not trying to speak for anyone, but I think we're going to be looking at it in the next few days.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that update, Lisa. I put the email address for the BP Tunnel Working Group in the chat. I don't see it on the calendar, but that doesn't mean that it's not on there. Just, trying to take a quick glance and multitask is probably not my strong suit. So I do know that the folks that tend to that email inbox are responsive and can get back to you to let you know when the next meeting is and give you some details around that.
Okay. Thank you, Janae. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. Thank you for bringing it forward. Great. So I was just looking at some of the other slides, and I know that we've been being contacted in a staggered format. So this was one of the sample acknowledgement letters for people, just to give a little bit of give a few pearls or lessons learned to make sure that people know their rights and don't make snap decisions or misread some of the language as Amtrak is reaching out regarding the subterranean rights, acquiring the subterranean rights or for our properties. And so I believe some of this information is on our website. And again, this was covered at our last meeting. But I thought it might be helpful just to kind of look at it and as a reminder for pearls that we've learned in responding, acknowledging that the letter was received, but not necessarily accepting or not at all accepting their offer and then, returning it in a certified letter. So at any rate, our VP Tunnel Working Group is much better versed in how to manage and things to look out for. But those are some top level pearls that perhaps you can consider as you're trying to respond to what's happening and some of the correspondence that's coming out from Amtrak. So I did want to open it up for any other topics that would be of interest or anyone in the audience would like to discuss at this time.
I'd just like to say congratulations on a great event this past weekend. I know you guys put a lot of work into it and
Right.
highly successful, and glad you guys did it.
Yes, and thank you for volunteering as one of our community's Santa Claus.
Arlen was an amazing Santa Claus. I want to ask if anybody has any pictures with me in it, can you send me? I got pictures of everybody. I don't have any pictures of me.
Yes, we'll go through. I think that all of the Santa Clauses were amazing, and I can't wait to see their beards for next year. So.
Yes.
Was there and I'm gonna put Anissa on the spot because again, this was born out of her brainchild and her ideas around ways to bring people into RHA, whether they be homeowners or renters, just anyone in the community, just using the pets as a connection. So I know that she has more wonderful ideas, so I'm going to put her on the spot very briefly and say thank you and see if you have any additional words.
Hey, everybody. So just quickly, I really just want to say again, thank you to everybody who participated just from the beginning, who saw a little light in my idea and, put a fast track in it and just made it go. I really thank everybody. So the next one I was thinking about would be for February. It would be Lovers and Friends. Just, again, something a little interactive. I haven't quite got all just the deets together just yet about the plans for it, but I'm accepting any ideas and just looking forward to another great event. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much. As a reminder, our events committee is meeting December the 26th at 7 p.m. The Zoom invite is in our calendar. And so if you're interested in sharing ideas about the Lovers and Friends or the garden and home tour, stop on by.
Oh, I have to get with the marketing committee for a new flyer.
Yes. Yep, you do. All right. Are there any other questions, announcements, input, feedback? Daryl McLean?
Oh, Daryl got his hand away.
Marketing will not meet in December. That is all.
Thank you for that announcement.
Janae, if I could go back to the Amtrak situation, because I'm going to be working with Daryl to get something up on the website and maybe our social media pages regarding things that are ongoing. People may not know, but in the first Trump administration, the project was stalled. And so there's a glimmer of hope, notwithstanding what the governor and everybody else is trying to portray about whether or not this tunnel will be going through as planned. the first Trump administration refused to give them the funds to do the things that needed to be done years ago to keep the program on track. Now, because of the delays that have already occurred and the anticipated delays and the more funds that are now going to be required to deal with those delays, may be a silver lining for us. And so the Republicans don't really like Amtrak. And so we're hopeful that may work in our favor. And to that extent, one of the things that we're going to encourage people to do is also reach out to Congressional Oversight Committee chair from Representative Comer from Kentucky, and weigh in on that sort of thing. And so having that information on our website will let keep people clued in so that they're not just waiting for the next meeting to find out what's actually going on. There are additional investigations by the Department of Transportation regarding the fraud, waste, and abuse related to this tunnel program. There's an active investigation by Department of Transportation Inspector General, which could have an impact on the program as well. And that's dealing with the issues with, the transfer of funds and them not following the law. So in addition to the civil rights claim that's being investigated, there is also this fraud, waste, and abuse claim that is also out there. And so people need to know that that's ongoing, and so they can check and ask for updates, and we can keep it current. And we can also share information and resources, like where you can file complaints for people who don't necessarily attend the meetings, but still live in the community. We still want their participation. We still want them to be involved in what goes on in the community. So my hope is that by including that information, and in fact, having a Section 106 section would be helpful, so that people understand that if you live in Reservoir, the historic district of Reservoir Hill, that you are living in a nationally designated historic property. And that means something. So we really, because when at the meeting, at our annual meeting, there wasn't enough time to really go into the details. And I know a lot of people were confused because some of them were hearing about Section 106 for the first time. And so what does it mean? So I think we need to have something where they can just go, to the website and see. And I'm not trying to give Daryl more work, but just so that they have the ability to click on a link and say, oh, okay, I see they're doing this on such and such a day. Or here's the next meeting, because everybody doesn't always check the calendar. So if your focus is Amtrak, then here's where you need to go to get that information. Just something that, and Daryl and I had talked about it briefly. I'd like to get Christy's stuff that she did for Keandra's complaint on, because I think that helping people understand why the HUD complaint is significant is also going to just be important for our case and our cause. So. Mr. Rolando has his hand up.
Just want to make something clear. Just a reminder, Reservoir Hill is federally historic. So even though you may not live in the city designated historic district, you still can apply, or you're still under a historic designated area, as Reservoir is designated federal historic. Just want to make that clarity. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Lisa, for
Thank you for that clarification too.
the additional information. So just a few reminders as we get ready to wrap up. This is the regularly scheduled time calendar for our committee meetings, and the marketing committee meeting is not going to meet this month. This month. And I see, Daryl, you have your hand raised.
Green Committee has changed to the second Monday of each month.
Okay, we'll make that addition, that update, the second Monday of each month. And we are going to, as far as the elections are concerned and our follow-up for this meeting, we're going to go back to the board and have a discussion regarding the bylaws and work out a process. But in the meantime, if there are people that are interested in, chairing some of the committees that you just heard from, where we outlined some of the activity we've been engaged in, each of us has different gifts, has different talents, and has different ways that they can lend towards making our community better. Please consider either joining or chairing one of our committees that we currently have existing. We also have committees where we have not had someone to chair them, such as our education committee. So if you have a passion around those different topics, please come forward, reach out to any of the committee members, or send a note to board@reservoirhillassociation.org so we can have a discussion around it. So we're going to talk about at our next follow-up, we're considering putting together some HUD complaint workshops to assist with submitting that paperwork. On January the 11th, we have a meeting set up with Antonio Hayes' office, Antonio Hayes and his office at Dorothy I. Height. And is that a new raised hand, Darrell McLean?
Safety and Security meets monthly on the third Monday.
Okay. Thank you. So definitely need to update the slide and definitely take a look at the calendar, which is on our website. And then December the 14th, can someone refresh my memory as far as which meeting? Was that the WNADA meeting on December the 14th, or was that the meeting with the with David Bramble and Alex Aaron?
It's definitely going to be. I'm trying to find a date because I kind of got sidetracked. It's definitely going to be. I know Alex Aaron is going to be there because apparently in Mount Royal they've been. And maybe I'll look on their website. They have raised some issues with the development of that area, that retail area and shopping center. And so I do believe that MCB will be there, but I know it's primarily dealing with. So I'm looking for that date. I apologize. The time.
Well, we'll make sure to put it up on the calendar. And also, as you're looking, I wanted to do a quick shout out. If you all have not had an opportunity to take a look at the newsletter that just came out, it's a wonderful recap of some of the things that we've done. We've done a lot this year, and it was a nice reminder of how we brought the community together, how we've shared information, and how we've, really taken this year and capitalized on some of the things that we started several years back. So it's really wonderful to just take a look and see all of our, or most of our accomplishments, because I'm sure there are some things that didn't make the cut. Otherwise, we'd have a very lengthy newsletter, but wanted to thank marketing for putting that out and give a big kudos for everyone that lended their efforts towards having conducting the activities so that we can have them as a part of our year-end newsletter. So that is everything that I have. And so if there are no additional announcements, I know we have some updates for when our committee meetings are going to occur. But, again, we're going to put them on the website, which can be reached here, reservoirhillassociation.org. If you have updates, if you have feedback, please reach out to contact or board at reservoirhillassociation.org. But other than that, I don't have anything else. I would want to wish everyone a wonderful evening and a wonderful holiday season as we're well into it, and hope that we'll see you on another meeting or another committee meeting soon. So I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Janae, before we adjourn, sorry, Carson just sent me a text. So,
Okay.
So the meeting, that sheet that we have indicates the meeting with Antonio Hayes is supposed to be Saturday, December 14th at 10 a.m. But I don't have a location. It just says in regards to 600 West North Avenue.
Okay, so that is in conflict with the information that I got from.
Right.
Yeah.
And the date and time on the text message I have, it doesn't have the location specified.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll need to add that as soon as we get that. So you can check the website in the next day.
Yes.
And I'm sure it will be updated.
Okay, I'm putting that on our homework as well. Okay, well, and if that is the last pearl, thank you all so much for your time, and we'll adjourn the meeting. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
See you around the community.
Good night.
Good
See you guys
night.
next year.